Look at this thing upload. By the time I'm recording part 7, I'm already uploading part 6. Oh boy. Now, this is possibly the last chapter of this one. So, let's cue the last chapter music. Everybody get up and dance. And watch this at the same time. By the way, this is like a 20 or 30 minute video. I'll keep this playing. Wait, am I gonna get a... Okay, no, this isn't copyrighted. Let's watch this upload completely. Now we're processing. It's getting there. It's getting there. I don't know what the point of this is. I guess I'm just like, you're watching a video of a video being uploaded to YouTube as I'm recording this video. Yeah, this music, man. We made it to 1%, 2%. We made it. This is part 7. Now let's get started while this uploads. Steam deals of the day. EVE Online, $5. Planet Explorers, $14.99, 40% off. Dungeon Defenders Eternity, $14.99. That game is... Well, not this game, but Dungeon Defenders on the 360 is fucking stupid. What makes you think I'm gonna buy this? And Dead Rising 3, a launch title on the Xbox One that was released back in November, $44.99. Pre-order now. Now that that's out of the way, we are on the possible conclusion of Narcissu first, not second. So, a couple of things I want to say before I get started. I will be uploading a couple videos. Well, let me open this up so I could get an idea of how many videos I'm gonna upload after this, if this is it. So that's 3. Seven videos will be uploaded if this is over. 3 will be consisting of Battlefield 4 matches. One of them will be a message that I got. And another 3 will be my cousin playing games. There's 2 of... Well, I won't give that away, but... Yeah. Hopefully this is the last chapter of this game. Otherwise, I won't be able to upload those videos until I finish at least first before I get started on second. So, let's do this. Oh, and by the way, before we actually get started, I played the intro. So let's see. Oh, it's finished. Oh boy. Okay. Back to this. Let's see. Just because. Okay, load. Here comes the possible conclusion of Narcissu. Around when the day was slowly being dyed orange. A sandy beach in winter, nobody in it. Pine grooves swaying in the cold winter wind. I stopped the car at the speech and turn over the driver's seat to her. And I just remember something. This is the second to last chapter, I believe. I believe it is. I don't know. I stopped the car at the speech and turned over the driver's seat to her. Can your feet reach the clutch pedal?
大丈夫。
It's fine. Okay, now shift the gears from neutral to second. Aren't you supposed to go first?
知ってるわよ。
I know. Okay, now do as you will.
わかった。
Okay. She stretched out with all her might to step on the clutch and grasped the steering wheel with concentration. I leaned forward in my seat, instructing her as best as I could. Good. Now gently let up on the clutch. Okay. And then, all nervous, she stalled the car. Whoa. Just as I expected, the engine started to knock horribly. Okay, next time, let up on the clutch a little more gently. Okay. She did say this confidently enough, but she really didn't have any skill at all. That's a little harsh. She was trying so hard that she was even pursing her lips. But I couldn't help but feel this was really charming because usually she had no expression at all on her face. Hey, you. Almost look like you're hungover.
わかってるわよ。
I know. The silver coupe, now quite noisy courtesy of the crack in its muffler. Almost like a song of lamentation arising from the beach that had no one in it. Around when the sunset had faded away into nightfall, around when the sea breeze had changed into a land breeze. Before we knew it, the enormous moon had risen in the night sky. It looks like you've more or less gotten the hang of it. Yeah. Along with this reply, she smoothly shifted into third gear. Her foot on the clutch was smooth and sure, and she had free run of the entire narrow sandy beach. If you can do this, then you'd probably be able to get a license without even without going to driver's school.
そうなの。
Really? Well, take what I say with a grain of salt. After all, I'm not a certified instructor or anything. It wasn't as if we were planning on getting her a license at this late hour. We both knew that. We had a map, we had our meds, and though it had a broken muffler, we had the silver coupe. But we had no time, we had no future. And because I knew this, it was all the more painful to me. Well then, I'll give you mine instead. Saying this, I took out my own license from my pocket. This was the license I thought I'd never use. The proof of a normal world that I thought I'd already lost. Here, as a substitute for your license.
ほらでも使う時間なさそうよ。
Even if I take it, it seems that I won't have the time to use it. Oh, go ahead and take it. After all, I'm in the same boat. 7F, which no one had ever left alive. High ceilings, windows that open only 15 centimeters, white ID bracelets. The third time was the end. She was on her second time. I was on my first. So here, congratulations, you're a license holder.
ありがとう。
Okay, thank you. With a tiny bow, she received the license from me. Now she was a certified driver as well. She could drive any car she wanted and go anywhere, not just on a coupe, but on a sedan or even on a convertible. I was sure that a girl like her could find places to love no matter where she went. After we'd driven around for a bit more, we arrived at our destination, the place where the narcissus bloomed. This was supposed to be a tourist attraction, but whether it was because it was so distant or whether it was because it was night, there was no one around. And underneath the pitch black curtain of night, we were waiting in the car for dawn to come.
ねえ、明かりつけないの？
Say, shouldn't we turn on the light? No, because it looks like the battery's almost gone.
そうだね。
Yeah, that's true. A totally dark cabin, the motor turned off. Only the dim panel lights to reflect our wan, self-same profiles. Not a single word exchanged as we waited for dawn inside his car, devoid of any other light or sound. And the pile of clothing to be washed in the back seat, thick jeans and sweaters and a few hand towels. We had grabbed a bunch of those things and spread them on top of ourselves since we had no blankets. It's cold, huh?
うん。
Yeah. You can come closer if you want.
Eh?
What? It's okay, so come on over. I looked at her shivering in the passenger seat and offered her my empty lap. It'll probably be warmer this way.
別に私は平気よ。
Not really. I'm fine. She was shivering even as she said this. Our breaths were frosting. She was obviously bluffing.
それともあなたが寒いから来てほしいの？
Or is it that you want me to come over because you're cold? Well, that's fine too.
じゃあ、わかった。
Very well then. She squirmed over to where I was, and then diffidently curled up on my lap. See? It's a little warmer this way, right?
うん。
Yeah. The windshield frosting over from the cold outside air. We could now see nothing past its white icy overlay. But it would be dawn soon enough. And when the time came, we'd seen white flowers spreading to one side of us. Gradually, night gave way to dawn. The rising sun rendered the sky purple and then white. And along with the dawn, so many white flowers spread themselves out before us. Radiant whites and yellows appearing where there had only been darkness before. Before we knew it, we'd come out of the car and were staring at the scenery. It's incredible.
うん。
Yeah. Countless number of Narcissu spreading out as far as the eye could see. The virgin white of the flowers amplified by the morning dew. Descending like a carpet that led into the ocean itself. And in the midst of our exchange of words and our breaths frosting white in the chilly air, we'd come a long way since that day that we saw the same flowers on that boring TV. We'd come all this way, despite the fact we had no plan or destination. These are exactly the ones. How nice, huh?
厳密に言っても同
Yeah.
じ。
Yeah. Identical to the very last. And that's great. I didn't really know what the distinction was, but those absolutely beautiful flowers on TV that day, when compared to those, the one before our eyes weren't as big or as well shaped, but they were alive here and now in this place.
綺麗。
They're beautiful. Unclear, boring, ordinary. But a cold and unrelenting reality that answered to no one. In this world so filled with things that could not be seen, in a world so filled with things that could not be touched. Here and now, right before my eyes, there lives something I couldn't see and touch. And right here as well, the shards of all things unseeable were scattered everywhere. January 36th, Hawaii. The falling snow coming down out of the pure white January sky. It had been 2 days since, but we were still here. We could not leave. Cough. Hey, are you okay?
多分
Yeah, probably. Her condition was rapidly worsening. She had tilted her seat back all the way down, and we were mainly staying in one place to let her rest. She'd taken her medications, but they had no effect, and her condition did not improve one whit. But we were inhabitants of 7F. It was her second time already in the first place, so it was not surprising that something like this might happen. Hey, do you want to go back?
あなた帰りたいの
Do you? Yeah, just a little.
7回それとも家
7F or home? I don't know. What I did know was that it would come to this sooner or later, and my fate would not be much different. But it was incredibly tough for me to be able to do nothing but be by her side. February 2nd, Hawaii. Rain that did not seem to let up. Drops of water falling from the twilight sky. The glistening white Narcissu in the rain, visible from the car window. Hey, you know, I pointed out the white flowers visible in the windshield as I said this. You said that those were Narcissus, right?
ナルシスが語源よ
Yeah, the original word is Narcissu. There was another word I was reminded of. Funny, since I thought that it was unique up until now. You mean as in narcissist?
うん
Yeah. It
も
is.
ともとが神話だからいろんな説があるんだけどね
It originally comes from a legend, so there are many different interpretations. And she slowly began telling me the story as I looked and listened in admiration.
誰からも愛されるナルシス
Narcissus was loved by all.
妖精のエコーもそんな彼が好きな一人だったの
The young nymph, Echo, was one of those who loved him.
でもエコーは相手と同じ言葉しか話せない
But Echo could do nothing but repeat the words that other people spoke to her. Repeat the words?
そう
Yes.
だからナルシスに
And so,
先に彼の口から愛してるって言ってもらわないと
if Narcissus didn't tell her, I love you first,
エコーは自分の気持ちを伝えることができないの
she could never tell him her feelings in return. She continued her story desolately with a sorrowful voice, her eyes looking far into the distant summer, just as it had before all this.
でもそんなこと
But
絶対にありえない
he'd never say those words.
どんなに夢見て憧れても
Echo's wish would never come true in
決
him.
して叶うことのないエコーの願い
Echo's wish would never come true no matter how she dreamed or prayed for it.
最後にはナルシスに呪いをかけてしまうの
In the end, she placed a curse upon Narcissus. so that he will fall in love with his own self, with his own reflection in famous waters.
そして自分の姿を見続けたナルシスは
And Narcissu, who did nothing but gaze away at his own figure.
いつしか綺麗な花へと姿を変えてしまうの。
One day turned into a beautiful flower.
それがこの花、ナルキッソスの語源よ。
And that is the legend of how this flower, Narcissu, came to be. She made a little sigh when she finished her talk. I'd also grown sad just by listening to it. Echo, who could never fulfill her wish, she didn't seem all that different from us. So what happened to Echo after that?
いないわ。呪いをかけるときに消えちゃったから。
Nothing, because she'd already disappeared by the time she cast the curse. Disappeared? What meaning was there in that? She disappeared without the curse accomplishing anything. She disappeared having caused only pain for Narcissu.
どうかした？
Is something wrong? No. But you know, you're different.
え？
What? You asked me yourself some time ago whether I cursed my own fate, the one I couldn't do anything about.
私は諦めているから。
Yes, because I've given up.
時間も止まった私。
My time was at a standstill. I'd spent so many seasons, so many white overcast skies, without the want or need to converse with anybody.
いつから私は一人なのだろうか。
Just when did I become all alone?
目を閉じても世界は消えない。
Even if I close my eyes, the real world didn't disappear. And if you look real closely at that picture, you can see the reflection of the girl. I can't remember the name. Satsumi, there we go. If you look real close, you can see the reflection right about here. Just thought you should know. Oops. No. Just when did I become all alone? Even if I closed my eyes, the real world didn't disappear. Even if I covered my ears, the sound of the rain would not stop. I knew that all too well. The bikini swimsuit, the emerald sea, the swimsuit model smiling radiantly on the magazine cover. I didn't think I was jealous of any of that. In my world of closed eyes, I could go anywhere I wanted, even without a card or a map. And if these huge cars weren't already constantly reminding me, even if I was the echo to the Narcissu, that was this reality.
決して憧れない。呪わない。
I'd never yearn for it. I'd never curse it. That's what I decided. And yet my heart was pounding right then. My supposedly stopped time was ticking loudly. Even though I knew that at this late hour in the end was coming and that there was nothing to be done about it.
傷は
I knew that my scars,
深ければ深いほどそれに比例して治るのも時間がかかるだし
were about as deep as they possibly could be, and that they required too much time to be fully healed.
それならば長い時間をかけてゆっくり離れてしまうと
But if I were to wait patient,
取り返しがつかないのだろうか
But if I were to wait patiently for that long time, was I then to be denied of any hope of recovery?
じゃあ
In that case,
22年も生きた私はどうなるのだろ
What was to become of me in my 22 years of life? Cough, cough. Hey, are you okay? Before dawn, I had reached over to the passenger seat and was stroking her back. It was 2 days afterwards now, and now even those ineffectual meds were all gone. But they were better than nothing. With that in mind, thinking to head to a pharmacy, I reached for the keys. And I was about to ignite the engine when...
いいから。
It's okay. She stopped me with her frail voice. But at this rate, you...
どうせもう聞かない。
They can't help me now. Well, that might be true, but... It was as she said. I didn't think the same meds would do anything for her either. But it was just too hard for me to sit there and do nothing, even if I knew that. Then, let's go somewhere else.
別の場所。
A different place? Yeah, some place that isn't this lonely. Okay, let's decide on our next destination. Look anywhere would be fine, so be my navigator again. I was speaking in a voice so cheerful that even I couldn't believe it. Speaking so brightly all by myself to the girl who was just staring into the distance, even though I knew that it was futile. It had been over 2 days, 3 days really, that she had not had her meds. I knew that. Hey, so tell me, do you want to go somewhere?
別に。
Not really. That's right, you like cars. So wanna get on the expressway again?
別に。
Not really. Then, how about new clothes? Let's go buy some. You want some too, right? Right?
別に。
Not really. What do you mean, not really? With that, she went back to gazing out the window. She wasn't looking at the Narcissu, but once again into the faraway distances. So that also rare, sour, bashful expression was no longer even a possibility. Why do you have to be like that? You and your incessant not really's. Wouldn't it be nice to look straight forward for a bit? I started shouting before I knew it. Strangely, it was all really sad. Nothing should have been real to me, yet my heart ached. The car was in total silence. Outside the window, the flowers of January, the Narcissi, were swaying in the morning twilight before dawn. And there she was, staring at something far, far more distant than these white flowers. The distant sound of the sea waves was the only thing that held dominion here. Sorry.
前向きになってなれるわけないじゃないの。
It isn't so easy for me to face forward. What? The darkened car, her sudden quiet voice.
憧れて懸命になって頑張って
It
い
might
つか報われるのならいいけど
It might be easy if you can yearn, hope, persist. Even if you can keep believing you'll be rewarded someday.
でも叶わなかった時にはどうすればいいの？
But what can you do when your wish doesn't come true?
その時に無理だったねって笑って言えるほど
when that time
強
comes,
くないわよ。
when that time comes, I'm not so strong that I can say, I'm not so strong that I can smile and say that it wasn't for nothing. Her eyes, which had been focused on the far distance, were now staring straight at me from the passenger seat.
私にできることは最初から諦めて何も望まずにいて
The only thing I can do is to give up from the beginning, wish for nothing.
やっぱり無理だったと冷めた目で自分を見ることしかできないのよ。
Observe myself coldly, tell myself it's all useless. That's all I can do. You. She was crying for the first time. It was usually so hard to get any expression out of her. And yet now, her shoulders were heaving a little, and tears were falling from her eyes.
あの時頑張っていたらもしかしたらって
When that time comes, even if I'm trying my hardest, even if
自分にとっての最後の言い訳を取っておくしかないのよ。
For me, there's nothing left but that last excuse.
最初から無理だと分かっているんだから。
Because I've known this was futile ever since the beginning.
それぐらいいいじゃないの。
So, can't you leave me with at least that? The night sky, visible above the windshield. Nothing but the moon showing its face in the sky before dawn. The occasional roar of the sea waves and the sound of her weeping. She may have been fundamentally similar to Echo after all. Able only to say the same single thing over and over. Able to say nothing, wish nothing, and see nothing for herself. Able to do nothing but give up. Her veto of both 7F and her home was probably her first and last act of defiance. Chapter 8. Possibly the last chapter here. Dude, that was really depressing. Really depressing. I don't even know what to say. I'm just gonna end it here. So, Chapter 8 will be another time, I guess. See you later.